I developed an underpinning, which I hope resonates with everyone, and I'm going to try to pull this all together as we go through the slide deck. And so I was looking for a way to express how I felt about what design is as a tool. So this is in 1985, after I left Xerox a few years and started my own firm. I came up with this underpinning that it's not how you feel about the designer experience, it's how it makes you feel about yourself. I didn't realize that years later that we would still be working with this and it would become something that everyone resonated with in the firm. So today I just want to talk about what do we do, so you have an understanding of what we do. How do we get there? Not showing you sketches and process, but what tools do we use to help us understand what we're doing? And then what motivates us? So starting with what we do. So yes, we started as an industrial design firm, and I'm just going to show a few of the different projects that we're working on. So we're working with HydroPack. HydroPack is a technology created by Hydration Technologies. It is a cellulose fiber bag that is filled with electrolytes, sugar, vitamins, and flavoring. When you drop the bag into water, it self-inflates, and through the cellulose fiber, it strips away all viruses and bacteria. So you can drop this bag into polluted water in a disaster situation, and you can get people 150 calories and water, and you can drop the equivalent of 15 helicopter loads with a single helicopter with this technology. So we've been working with Hydration Technologies to help to get a product out there and to get into the channel and disrupt the use of bottled water because bottled water doesn't always make it to the last mile. Very current project, we developed this new technology. This is called Wikipad, which is a tablet that we designed that plugs into a gamer controller. And this is the new look and feel of what gaming is going to be. It's streaming games. It's a 10-inch screen. The ergonomics were incredibly challenging to have that large of a screen, have it balanced perfectly so you can play for extended periods. I'm not a gamer. We do have gamers on our team. I was surprised to pick it up and see how immersive this was. This was a great opportunity. This is just emerging now. They just started selling a few weeks ago. We actually were able to develop the brand, the tagline, the message, the tone, the packaging, the website, the on-screen user experience, and all the products, and are now doing the next strategy for them. We've worked with Core Water now for 5-6 years. So Core's mantra is better me, better world. So what we've been doing is developing water bottles that really motivate people to stop using disposable or throwaway water bottles. So as we know, that's a huge amount of damage done to the planet. So what we did was use design as a motivator to give you a higher level of self-actualization, that when you're holding that, you feel proud of yourself, and the economics are amazing. I mean, you can, for what it costs to buy a single bottle of water for $1, I think it's almost 1,800 times you can fill up a single water bottle. We created a program that went into a competition that is an open source that's called Designed in USA. So we have a website called designedinusa.com, which is now a logo that is, as I said, open source. So anyone can really go in there and put this mark on their product or their service, their packaging, if it's designed here, but not necessarily produced here. So it's a way to really build some pride and give some increased value, but also to acknowledge the design community in North America, specifically USA, of course. Other things we do medical products, as was mentioned. These are ICU ventilators or transport ventilators that allow a person to be put on a ventilator and taken in an ambulance or a helicopter and right into emergency situations. Huge amount of global research for that. We do some work in the music industry. These are powered speakers for musicians. We did do our own line of guitars called RKS guitars, which are played. We have pictures of the Rolling Stones on stage with them, the Eagles. We have a great list, but we built a guitar company. But we've always been doing work in the music industry. So Line 6 is one of our strategic clients that we do a lot of work for. And the last product I'll show you is this DNA sequencer. So this was announced in January, and this is the big buzz in life sciences. This is the $1,000 genome. So the first genome was done, I think, 15 years ago at a cost of $3 billion. So now you will be able to do a DNA sequence and really analyze what's happening, looking at the blueprints of your own body or of food or of animal products for $1,000 in 2 hours. So this is something that, and I hope all of these examples show ways that we relate to people. What's interesting about this technology is that this is going to affect everyone in this room. Everyone's lives will be touched by this new technology of DNA sequencing. So before we get ill, we may change our lifestyle based on what our DNA tells us. If we do get ill, it may help us with the treatment. As we go through treatments, there's DNA serums that are going to change medicine. So they're using this now even to develop processes of growing proteins. So instead of using animal proteins, that you could grow proteins. So really amazing technology, and we did the global design language. We've done a whole series of products for this company called Life Technologies. So enough about what we do, what fuels us, and how do we work. So we start with global exploration. We started looking for the reasons that things happen. And so you see Joseph Campbell and you see the hero's journey. So the hero's journey is really, as we understand it and we believe it to be, is really a universal truth, that in all cultures, all religions, that there is the story of the hero. And the hero goes through the process, goes through the challenge, may die and be reborn, but there is this process of the hero's journey. But as we looked at it, we came to realize that we're all on this journey. Everyone in this room is on a hero's journey. Everyone has been attracted to this conference and has committed their time and has been somewhat exposed and challenged that are they going to receive something of value to go through the hero's journey, and we all want to return with something of value that we share with others. And it is that sharing process, that audience, other people who acknowledge us and affirm us that lead us to our own heroic journey. So what we looked for and what we've been leveraging is the storytelling and the concept of heroes for every experience that we design. The next person we started working with was Maslow. So with Maslow, I started looking and the team started looking and saying, okay, what it is about the hierarchy of needs that we can use to help us understand not to make a base product too beautiful, too aesthetic, or in the reverse, balance everything out. But we found it was very limiting, but it led us to an interesting place. What we see here is a very basic map, and what we didn't understand when we did it was that it could apply universally to every situation that we look at. So we took what started out as the hierarchy of needs. It really is levels of self-actualization vertically and interactivity horizontally. We're looking for is a way to see the world through the eyes of other people. So by using a mapping system, we found that we could start to do that. As we started expanding the mapping system, we started building these quadrants. So you see the basic, the versatile, the artistic, and the enriched quadrants. So that helped us to kind of give a narrative as to where things fall. So I see everything now through these crosshairs of the quadrants. I just can't help doing it now. What you see are some examples in the four corners that help to understand. So the most basic product, so low self-actualization, low interactivity, is a paperclip. It's very interesting. Think about it, it works, it does its job. But boy, is that designed. It's minimal material, and it, with that little piece of wire, works ergonomically and it works functionally. Doesn't mean that it's not high design. I think it's actually very high design, and when you start, twisting and playing with it, it doesn't work anymore. So it's amazing what can happen even high design in that level. Then you start adding interactivity at a high level. We put a skip loader as an example. Now, the thing to understand is that for every market and every set of people, it changes. So these are just rough examples that take a skip loader. It's hands, feet, eyes, ears, but it's not self-actualizing. If we go back to passive interactivity, high self-actualization, we took an example of the Mona Lisa. So you've got to get to Paris, you've got to buy a ticket, you've got to wait in line to do that, you wait in line to get in the Louvre, you get through the Louvre, you wait in line to see the Mona Lisa, you see it, and somehow you're disappointed, but you're self-actualized to see it 10 feet away behind a piece of glass, and it's smaller than you ever imagined, but you check the box, and it is self-actualizing, and you feel something about yourself that you've seen the Mona Lisa. But if you add high levels of interactivity, and we picked the Ferrari, but it can be one of anything for each of us. And we said, well, a Ferrari would be an example for a certain type of person that they see it, they smell the leather, they feel it, it's immersive, it actually changes who you are. And that's the enriched quadrant. And what's interesting is that what we've seen as we've been doing this over a decade now is that more and more everyone is moving their needs and aspirations into this enriched quadrant. And I don't know if that's the Apple effect or that's what's happening just in general with people. So we've built thousands of these maps. We've done hundreds of product categories and experience categories. We've even done crazy things like looked at political candidates and mapped them, but not shown it to the world and say, how does this test out? We've done it for ourselves. And what you see here, and what we didn't expect to have happen, was that we actually could learn the people well enough that we could take the aggregates of our research and our personification of our audiences, we could put them on the map. We can put an understanding and a qualitative analysis of the aggregate of the brand and map that. And we can also put the products or the services on that map. So this is a very simple map that was taken out of a deck that we did for Sprint, and we actually showed them 2 years before the iPhone that you could create a phone that was simply a touch screen. Of course, that was my background. Back in the 70s, was developing the touchscreen as part of the Xerox team, and that you could have downloadable apps, because we came up with so many things that people wanted to do with their phones that seemed like the only logical thing to do was to create a touchscreen phone that you could download. And then finally, you have to execute. And I think we all live in this world. For everything that's said and for all the theory, execution is incredibly difficult, and we spend our whole lives just mastering that. So finally, what motivates us? So we're doing this type of work, we're looking for something, but we look outside of design, and we're seeing design everywhere, and we're seeing this concept of design thinking as if it's some newly found revelation, and you just have to look back as far as you want, and you will see this everywhere, and that it's ongoing. That it's not about the process of design, it's really about how do people think about things? How do people see the world? The other thing that motivates us is, we see a changing world. Populations are expanding, densities of cities are increasing, natural resources are being depleted, and we're actually seeing, this challenge to the design community that it's not about creating something, it's about design as a tool. What do we do with it? How do we make the world a better place through our process? We also see there are clients that we work with are challenged. So 80% of new products fail, 70% of strategies don't get executed or implemented, 30% miss some critical piece of information, and half of the small businesses aren't hanging on for 5 years. So there is a commercial component that also opens our eyes and makes us see things a little differently. And then, going back to the self and understanding people. And I did a piece for Fast Company on how when Gandhi worked to free India, part of his process was to develop a spinning wheel that was portable, and he worked with people to develop the spinning wheel so that cotton could be spun into thread, because he needed a mechanism for the population to create commerce and to create benefit. And at that time, the cotton was being exported to Great Britain, which was spun into thread and cloth and then sold back to the community, and not many people can afford it. So that was the reason that you saw him always on a spinning wheel. And then you see things like microbanking that's helped to raise people's quality of life. You know, something as simple as that emerging in the world. You see, globally, the quality of life has been something that people focus on universally. Everyone's looking for a richer quality of life. Everyone knows about design. Everyone can tell you whether something's good or bad. They know it when they see it. They may not be able to create it, but they sure know it when they see it, and they're looking for that richness in life. And then finally, to pull it all together, Maya Angelou, she said, people will forget what you've said. People will forget what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel. And I hope I've made everyone here feel a little bit richer, a little bit more empowered. I hope I've made you feel good about me, which is my own self-actualization for selfish reasons. With that, I'd say thank you, and if you would like to reach out to me, there's my email. I'll be happy to do any follow-up. Thanks once again.